First, though, is it time to scrap the Rwanda plan? Try to get our money back. 0207 862 2222 is the number to get in touch. The Rwandan president has offered the UK government a chance to cash out of its £240 million deportation plan and receive a refund of taxpayer money, because no one has actually been sent to Rwanda yet. But the Prime Minister is still pressing ahead with the policy after winning a vote in the House of Commons last night. It's reported the Home Office already has a list of names of the first 100 people they will attempt to deport to Rwanda. But with the offer to cash out on the table, there's a moment now for Rishi Sunak to simply say, I'm not putting good money after bad. I'll take the refund and just make an excuse and leave the room, as it were. We're joined by the former Brexit Party MEP Belinda de Lucy now. And Belinda, you don't think he should cash out?
Look, I'd put it this way, Jeremy. You know, the world is changing, dramatically changing. Huge population shifts from poorer to rich countries. It's becoming a massive issue, not just in the UK, but across Europe. And we need a third safe country to process irregular asylum seekers. The EU are looking at Moldova and Ghana and Rwanda as well. So it is the way forward. We do need a third safe country, and Rwanda fits the bill. Now, if the plan was watertight and worked, I would be behind it 100%. As it stands, it's a bit of a dead cat, has so many loopholes that anyone can just claim that they would face discrimination and not be sent there. Already, I think pamphlets are circulating across Calais camps, advising people how to escape Rwanda if it does go through. So I think it's been a huge amount of theatre for not much substance, and a real insult to the British people that this is the best the Conservative Party can come up with to protect our borders, to protect the public safety and national security. We need solutions. It's only going to get more of a problem. More and more people, 250,000 people arrived in Italy just last year. So it is a tiny cog in a huge machinery of what needs to be done to control our borders, having a third safe country. We need to amend international law, leave the ECHR. We need to intercept the boats and take them back to France. There are many things that we need to do to make the borders. Right. And I think when we do them, Europe will follow our lead, because it's a worldwide problem.
Camilla, what do you think? So switch Rwanda with a different country, but otherwise just plough on and do that, and some of the tougher stuff that Belinda says as well.
I'm just shocked at the cost. 240 million, and not a single person has actually been sent. What a waste of money.
Well, let's assume, yeah, of course, because they've been blocked by the courts. But once the thing is rolling, might it be worth it?
Well, not if it's going to cost an extra 63,000 per refugee, then keeping them in the UK.
So you keep them here?
The Tories are supposed to be the party of fiscal responsibility, and I see absolutely zero fiscal responsibility with this plan.
OK, 63,000. I don't know how much you spend if you keep them here. That's the thing. What do you think, Cristo?
Well, you're right to point out what they will spend if they keep them here, because the Conservatives at the moment are trying to solve a problem that they have presided over, because, of course, the amount of money being spent on people being here is because they're not processing people quickly enough. But I just feel like, bearing in mind that this was started under the nonsense Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and we're now in the nonsense era of Rishi Sunak with a bit of nonsense in between, this is just a distraction. The asylum, people claiming asylum, is about 6% of our overall immigration. So this is brilliant, because what's happening is they're saying, look over here at Rwanda, look over here at this nonsense plan that won't work, that will never get through, the courts will stop, and forget about the 700...
I think it's a non-event.
But forget about the 700,000 people that came over, that they allowed to come over legitimately.
You can control that. That's the thing. They're
not controlling that.
They say they're going to, aren't they? But it's
they've been saying that they're going to
people coming
years.
in a disorderly way that is so problematic. Or have I got it wrong, Belinda? It's actually not very many people.
It's actually not about the numbers, despite them being unsustainable. I mean, we just don't have the hotel accommodation, doctors, dentists, school places for everyone who will be eligible to come here. We need to cap the number at 20,000 a year to resettle refugees here, number one. But it's about them being undocumented. This is a huge factor. It is not right. We don't know who these people are. They could be criminals, rapists, murderers, We just don't know. Many of them aren't, of course, but the fact is that we don't know, and that is not fair to put the British public at risk and their safety at risk to submit to bad, dangerous international law or to put forward a flawed Rwanda plan. The British people deserve better than this. Communities deserve to know the hundreds of men that are coming into them, that they're going to be safe around. And at the moment, that's not the way. You know, that the UK accepts 3 times the amount of asylum seekers, applicants, as France does, and twice as many as the whole EU does. We have such lax bars and standards to who gets accepted here. It actually does a huge disservice to those genuinely seeking asylum. And it's a massive abuse of the British taxpayer. We need to be much tougher.
There are a couple of moments I just want to highlight which have come out of the parliamentary debate on the Rwanda bill. First is the former Deputy Prime Minister Theresa Coffey. Now, this is what happened. Labour, Yvette Cooper, referred to Kigali, which is the capital of Rwanda, and was talking about the government in Kigali. And it's rather like saying Westminster instead of UK. And Theresa Coffey took exception. Have a look.
I have to say I was somewhat astonished by the speech of the shadow Home Secretary, who can't even get the name of the country right, talking about the Kigali government. We're talking about Rwanda, you know, a respected country that has recently been president of the Commonwealth.
So I think it means that she doesn't know what Kigali is, Cristo. I've watched that 3-4 times.
So I saw that last night on Twitter. It's so unbelievably depressing that they don't even know the country that they are debating, that they're planning on sending people to. And by the way, this, I don't disagree with everything that you've said about people not being documented in the sense of a lack of fair play. I'm just saying it's not the problem that people believe that it is, firstly.
Well, 8 million a day on hotels, come on.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
Process
that's the problem that the Conservatives have created. They could have processed
And
people.
what happens when they say that people can't stay? As we've seen from the processing figures they've given us recently, that the process breaks down and the person goes missing.
Well, then they should be gone. But secondly, I would have a situation where you have to think more outside the box with this. Why can't we have people apply from offshore here in the UK? Why do they have to apply whilst in the UK?
That's Rwanda. That's the whole point of the Rwanda.
No. Okay. Not moving them once they've got here. They can apply from another country to start with.
We're going to keep going. Belinda, stay with us if you can. I just mentioned another moment from last night. The former leader of the House, Jacob Rees-Mogg, who's questioned because he previously said the plan wouldn't work, and now he's voted for it.
A week ago, you tweeted this. The bill to stop the illegal migration via small boats will not work unless it is amended to remove loopholes. It wasn't amended. Therefore, please let me finish, if I may. It wasn't amended. Therefore, the loopholes, in your view, are still there. And you voted for it.
Yes, because it's better than the status quo. I think the difficulty with the bill...
That's not what you said 6 days ago on your TV show.
The loopholes are still there. But what I said is that the bill will not work with these loopholes in the time available. Now, that bit isn't in the tweet, but that was what I was saying.
No, that was the full tweet.
But that's what I was saying in the programme.
Yeah, so there's the thought that if it's not going to work, why vote for it? Why not just cash out? And the reason I mention that is that the president of Rwanda did say yesterday, look, if Britain wants the money back, we can refund it. So crack on or cash out? You tell us. 0207 862 2222. We'll see you shortly. Now your calls. Should Rishi Sunak give up on his Rwanda plan and instead ask for the UK's money back? 0207 862 2222. And let's speak to Alistair in Lincolnshire. What do you think, Alistair? It looks like we may be able to cash out.
Hopefully. I think we should. I think the Rwanda plan has been ill-conceived from the start when Johnson first proposed it. It's now become an emblem for the Tory party's election year. Nothing more. It won't deter people because if you look at the numbers, the chances are that you're going to be one of those that's going to be sent to Rwanda is quite small.
Yeah, but the argument they're doing... So what they're trying to do is this, Alistair. They just want one plane to take off. I mean, this is... If they can get one plane off the ground with 100 people in it, and they've apparently got the list of names already, then they can say, right, we're going to cut the numbers coming because people won't want to be on the next plane. So it's to put people off coming in the first place.
I don't think it'll work like that. I mean, I agree with you. They want the plane to take off. But I mean, what they should be concentrating on processing people through the normal asylum system rather than have a backlog. This all started.
Alison, let me go to Lisa. Forgive me, Alison, I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I want to bring in Lisa because I think you feel the same, Lisa, in Glastonbury, do you?
I'm not really interested in now what is happening. The reason I phoned up is because what I'm seeing is that people are forgetting that 24 years ago, our country and many other countries, the Western countries, went into these countries, attacked them through the mass weapons, the weapons of mass destructions, basically started wars, and here we are 24 years later with people wanting to leave their countries because they have been bombed to the ground. There's no infrastructure, and I think instead of going to Rwanda and all these countries and spending all these millions of pounds, we should be helping them people restore their country.
Well, we were chased out of Afghanistan while the Foreign Secretary was on a beach. So we don't have an option there, do we?
About all them stories about what supposedly has happened, we can see as a nation, the world can see what has happened. It doesn't matter what's been put in the media or anything. We can see what has happened in the world. These people, could you imagine losing everything? And then you're being told.
Right, let me put that to Belinda.
This dream in Glastonbury,
okay.
And there is, in England or Britain, and there is no dream. And we should be helping these people and not talking about dumping them in another country.
Right. So you two don't agree, actually. You first two callers. Belinda, what about that? We flattened Iraq and Afghanistan, so we had this coming.
Right, no, not at all. In fact, the top 3 countries represented by those landing in Italy by boats are Egypt, Tunisia, Guinea. We haven't started wars in any of those countries, and yet that's the top 3 countries where people are coming from into Europe and, of course, making their way up to the UK. Secondly, we just do not have the space, the funds, the infrastructure to open our doors to all the world's disaffected. There are 30 countries at the moment currently in conflict. There's 70 countries that, homosexuality is illegal. God knows the hundreds of millions of women that are oppressed by their sex who would all be eligible to come into Europe or into England. We cannot do that. We have to cap the numbers. And if you really are concerned about refugees and they're at your top priority, then my goodness, take them from the camps. These men coming from the safety of France with their mobile phones and no documents, I'm sorry, but they're not at the priority of those who need our help.
Okay,
it is an abuse of the system.
Terry in Kent, you're in favour of the Rwanda plan?
Yeah, I say, hi, Jeremy. I phoned up yesterday when you were talking about, are we generous enough? The thing is, the situation still stands to what I said yesterday. We haven't got the houses because over the years the government has not built enough houses and we ain't got the infrastructure. Plus, as I said yesterday, when you've got a gentleman on there with you saying, we process them. You can't process them quicker because if you process them, there's nowhere for them to go. We ain't got the houses for them. And regarding bringing them in from another country, you have agreements with other countries, you've got to have a cap on it. So if you turn around and say, right, you can only have 7,000 a month coming in from France or something like that, the ones that can't come in by France, they come out by boat.
Well, yeah, so, it's true. Any system you have, you'll still get disorderly entrants coming round it. I don't know. What do you think about this, Camilla?
I think...
So, would you crack on with Rwanda?
I don't think it's going to deter people. Death doesn't deter people, and they still come. I think it's very interesting that Belinda has no problem with the 700,000 people who legally came here, but she has a problem with, the 6% that's
not
necessary.
True. That's not true.
So how will our infrastructure cope with the 700,000 people that the Tories have invited into our country if they can't cope with it?
I mean, I just want to ask, though, do you not acknowledge, Belinda, that that's a massive distraction? I mean, I agree that there are issues with people who are coming here by boat, and I understand what your point is about the sense of fair play, that we don't know who those people are or whether they are genuine, but surely the 700,000 is a way bigger problem.
Absolutely. I'm from Reform UK. We want a net zero immigration policy where it's one in, one out, basically. So, the 700,000 is an obscene amount, and also poaching workforce from poorer developing countries so they can't develop as quickly, I think, is immoral anyway. And it's a sign of a failure of a government, not working our own people and training them.
Thank
So
you.
I agree with
I'm
that,
only
though.
chipping in because we have to go to our ad break now, which is kind of the law at this point in the day. But Belinda, thank you so much for coming onto the programme today. And thanks for all your calls as well. Later we'll be...